My name is Rebecca Gyumi. I'm a feminist activist from Tanzania, executive director of a girls' rights organization called Msichana Initiative. Yes.
What has inspired you about the forum in this community so far?
I think what has inspired me with the forum and the community so far is the discussion on how, as a global community, we can actually speed up, the investment, accelerate the immunization of children, but also the intersectional conversation around, how young women and girls in particular have an important role to play in all of this conversation. So coming from a girls' rights background, I feel this really feels home, because I know we cannot talk about child survival if we do not talk about, the girls and the young women who have currently contributing to a lot of number of, child death at the moment. Yeah.
Why do we need child survival action now?
I think with the COVID-19, we sort of went back a little bit, especially with the gains that we had attained as a global world. So this is important because we cannot talk about, first attaining the Sustainable Development Goals, SG 3.2, but also looking at, how child survival has an important role to play in other, manifestations or other goals. It becomes then very critical to address it. But for me, I also look at it as, really a panacea to ensuring that we are thriving together, and we are thriving equally, as a global community. And coming from sub-Saharan Africa, where I would say it contributes more of 50% of the child death in the world, this conversation is even more critical, and it has come at a very right time. We have a big catch-up to do as far as, immunization and vaccine is concerned. But for me, I also feel as much as vaccine is the most effective way or strategy to promote child survival, the most sustainable vaccine is actually investing on girls' agents, their power, their voice, their leadership, because then that takes care of many other inequalities, including the child death.
When you return home to Tanzania, what is one thing that will change as a result of this forum?
I think what will probably be enhanced is really to continue the conversation around the intersectional collaboration and accountability, and looking at how, the conversation on promoting gender equality and, issues of promoting girls' education actually has a role to play in all these other manifestations, including child survival. So it's really to ensure that, we are becoming allies, especially with the government, with other partners, in centering the issue, because if everybody continues to work in silos, then we'll continue to go in cycles and not really create meaningful change. So creating those meaningful partnership and bringing in the gender equality conversation, because sometimes the conversation around vaccine and child survival could become very technical, so to ground them also on the contextual realities that, well, it might be vaccine, but really we are talking about the lives of girls, the lives of young women, the lives of, young mothers who, if we are not really looking at, how they are socialized, how power relations, socialization continues, to put to them certain narrative about who they are, then really that is also part of us going in cycle. We will not be solving the problem.